you to politely take your seats, please. It's time to take your seats. The show will begin shortly. Thank you.
Army Air Corps, a position the 75-year-old monarch held for 32 years in front of an Apache helicopter.
Well, and the Apache, they didn't have helicopters in 1944, but there were aircraft doing similar roles, observing, trying to bring down fire support, supporting the troops they were going forward.
Now, the event will begin in a matter of seconds. The state trumpeters of the Household Cavalry will shortly sound the fanfare, followed by a flyover by 2 Dakota aircraft. They have begun.
Your Royal Highness, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Portsmouth. 80 years ago today, thousands of naval vessels and warships stretched along this south coast as our servicemen prepared to set off across the English Channel on a quest for freedom. Here, they waited, a tide of Allied hope. Their mission, liberating Europe from the tyranny of Hitler's Nazi regime, seemed almost impossible. This mission for freedom was breathtaking in scale and overwhelming in complexity. Quite simply, the future of the world was at stake. Yet, while the danger was grave, the courage was unflinching. So, with the soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied nations united and the home front in support, one of the most challenging military operations in history began. The presence today of some of those who contributed to that remarkable venture is an extraordinary privilege. Your bravery remains as inspiring now as it was 8 decades ago. Thank you. The fight for democracy is for some as perilous today as it was in June 1944. But the legacy of this extraordinary mission is one of hope. It was on this day, 80 years ago, the Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, General Eisenhower, gave the go-ahead for Operation Overlord. And we would not stop until Europe was free.
I was 17 when I joined up. Ordinary working class. I used to like doing boxing and that. I only had one girlfriend, and I married her.
I was 18 and I was at college at the time, trying to make up for the years I lost by being evacuated. But I think I was always serious as a young boy, even when I went round the back streets smoking stolen cigarettes.
I was 17 when I joined, and I always had a wish to fly.
In the Blitz, some of my schoolmates were killed. I wanted to join up to help out so that the war would be finished.
We knew what the Germans were doing to the Jewish people, so as a Jew I had a very great sense of purpose to destroy Germany.
Well, I started off as a night fighter pilot. We just hoped that we could beat them.
When we did go on D-Day, it did go quiet, especially when the first shells started coming over. That's when we knew that there was trouble coming, and it did come.
Our advanced unit had been torpedoed on the way over. The House of Volunteers, and there was a deathly hush. And I thought, well, I'll set an example. As a Jew, I felt I had to.
We went across to Normandy, and my crew were more or less the same as I was, but apprehensive.
We were scared at times. You couldn't run away and hide anywhere. You just had to take it.
Well, that was my first experience of war, and I was frightened. I got out a book of Psalms. Whether it gave me solace, I think it did.
We was picking up some American bodies, and we signalled to the medical ship, and they said, just slide them back into the sea, because we got too many dead people on board ourselves. So many were lost. It's terrible. I get a bit emotional.
D-Day changed the war completely.
Well, I do sense the pride because it finished the war.
It was an operation that had to be accomplished.
I'm pleased that I did what I could.
Everyone done their bit.
We cannot know how it felt to leave the safety of these shores, but a few can. That memory is as vivid today as it was 80 years ago. It is my great honor to welcome to the stage D-Day veteran Roy Haywood.
My name is Roy Haywood. I was 19 and a trooper in the Sherwood Rangers. On D-Day, I was regarded as a reserve tank crew, and I landed on the evening of D-Day, and subsequently I was a reserve tank crew, and it was then that I was finally called into a tank, and when I was on the tank 3 weeks later, the tank was hit, and I was so badly damaged that they had to amputate both my legs below the knee. I returned home eventually, and I have to say that I always considered myself one of the lucky ones that survived, because so many of us didn't. And I've always regarded myself as very lucky. Today, I represent the men and women who put their lives on hold to go and fight for democracy and this country. I'm here to honour their memory and their legacy, and to ensure that their story is never forgotten. Thank you very much.
Major Rodney Maud was a Royal Engineer in command of 246 Field Company. He wrote this letter on June the 4th, 1944. My dear Mum, you certainly won't get this letter until after the event, as it were, but I hope it won't be delayed too long. At the moment, we are at anchor off the coast of England, surrounded by a great many other ships and craft. We embarked yesterday afternoon. We drove very slowly down to the harbour. The men were all very cheerful, cracking jokes and cheering every girl that we passed on the way. I have known for over a year now, of course, that we would eventually go off, and I used to dread the last preparations, final partings from friends and England, but in actual fact, I haven't minded at all, now that it is really happening. We all feel very confident and optimistic about the results of the landings, and we all think it's going to be a walkover. At first, anyway. It simply doesn't occur to anyone that anything unpleasant can possibly happen. To other people, yes, but not to oneself. We are all intensely interested to see how this thing, which we have been planning and training for so long, does work out in practice. Anyway, please don't worry. I'm sure to be all right. And no news is good news. All my love, and don't worry. Your loving Rodney. Major Maud landed on Sword Beach on D-Day. He survived the war, later becoming a lieutenant colonel.
A desire to serve and the prospect of victory were the foundations upon which the Normandy campaign was built. In those final days and hours, spirits were high, some even singing as they made their way to the ships. Songs of courage and camaraderie as they bid farewell to home. D-Day is a story of bravery and sacrifice. The remarkable work that preceded it forged a vital path. This is a tale of ingenuity, cooperation, and courage. And it began in 1940. As much of Europe fell to Hitler's advance and our army was driven towards the sea, Britain was blooded but unbowed.
We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender.
As the battle against Germany, Italy, and then Japan raged, a plan to return to the coast of France began to take shape. Troops, supported by air and by sea, would land on the beaches of Normandy. If successful, the strategy could turn the tide of the Second World War. But success was precarious and danger real. It all depended on one crucial thing: the Allied nations uniting. In an unprecedented moment in our military history, armed forces from more than a dozen countries came together to execute an invasion of staggering ambition. Victory, though, would require more than just cooperation. For D-Day to work, ships, munitions, aircraft, and equipment were needed on a scale never seen before, and quickly. In late 1943, the plan was finally agreed. But this mission wasn't reserved for those in uniform. Success depended on ordinary people achieving extraordinary things.
Calling all workers. Every time our fighting forces go into action, they depend upon the skill of the workers of Britain. By day and by night, in all the workshops of war, that huge army without uniform is on active service.
The women of Britain have answered the call magnificently.
On this battlefront, there is a constant offensive.
ATS, Land Army, Civil Nursing Reserve, Beauty on the Bus, Railway Staff, Nappy Helpers, AFS, Salvage Squads, and Munition Workers.
In this war, everyone had their role to play. These are the memories of Kitty Morgan, one of thousands who contributed tirelessly to the national war effort. I worked in the munitions factory in Aycliffe, County Durham. We travelled there by train from Bishop Auckland and then by bus from Hynington to Aycliffe every day. We worked shifts. When you were 18, you were conscripted, and I chose the munitions factory so I wouldn't have to go away from home. And it was more money than my friend Doris got in the Land Army. The factory was buried down into the ground so that only the roof was showing. This was because the factory was an enemy target. I didn't work where the powder was, but I worked with the bullets, putting the detonator in the end. I never thought about the danger as I was working, even though a few people had been killed before I got there. The people working with the powder had their hands turned yellow. I was at Aycliffe for about 2 years, and then moved on to Spennymoor, where the bullets were packed to be sent to the Navy. We used to put letters in for the sailors, and we used to get some back. Some were in French. I enjoyed working there. Everyone was happy, and we became friends. And in our breaks, there was music and singing. It was music while you worked.
Hello, ladies.
Sing as we go and let the world go by. Singing a song, we'll march along the highway. Say goodbye to sorrow. There's always tomorrow to think of today. Sing as we go, although the skies are gray. Beggar or king, you've got to sing a gay tune, a song and a smile making life worthwhile. So sing as we go along. Blues, where are you now? You ought to know that I've no use for you. Frown, get off my brow. It's plain to see that from now on we're through. Turn to the sound and sing morning and night. I see a brighter day coming in sight. Sing as we go and let the world go by. Singing a song, we'll march along the highway. Say goodbye to sorrow. There's always tomorrow to think of today. Sing as we go, although the skies are gray. Beggar or king, you've got to sing a gay tune, a song and a smile making life worthwhile. So sing as we go along. Sing as we go. Good work, you two. Singing a song, we'll march. You're doing a fantastic job. Say goodbye to sorrow. What a day! To think of today. Sing as we go, although the skies are gray. Beggar or king, you've got to sing a gay tune, a song and a smile making life worthwhile. So sing as we go along.
Essential to the success of D-Day was a coordinated attack by land, by air, and by sea, made up of military personnel from across the Allied nations and commanded by British leaders like General Bernard Montgomery and Admiral Bertram Ramsay. Each of the armed forces would play a vital role.
The scale of the operation had never before been attempted. More than 6,000 ships and 11,000 aircraft would be mobilized. But victory in battle depended on the enemy's resources already being depleted and the skies secure.
Pilots flew tens of thousands of missions, bombing munitions factories, damaging supply routes, drawing out the German fighters. Their efforts essential, but the hazards enormous. Thousands of aircrew would lose their lives before the invasion itself. Many risked it all, among them those flying along the channel, seeking out the German U-boats.
From a very early age, I was interested in airplanes. That's why when the war came, it was automatic for me to volunteer for flying in the RAF. I was posted to 143 Squadron Coastal Command. We were known as an attack squadron. In the build-up to D-Day, our orders were to patrol the English Channel, to seek and destroy fast, heavily armed E-boats. We knew, of course, there were risks and dangers. There was one occasion we were suddenly enveloped with fire. It was like being in the middle of a firework display. I couldn't see any way out for us at all. There were red-hot tracer bullets coming up all round us. I was feeling very scared. In my desperation, I sat on my helmet instead of putting it on my head, because that's where the fire was coming from, underneath. I thought, this must be the end. This is so intense that we can't get out of it. And I said a prayer, and we got through. Yeah. Sometimes other aircraft in our formation would not return home. I think the general feeling that you can't dwell on this. If you did, you'd get so worried that you wouldn't want to fly. We did want to fly, so we carried on. All we can say is that D-Day went off all right. It was not upset by E-boats. Quite satisfied to have been a little part of it.
I am deeply honoured to join you today to recognise the bravery of all of those, like John Haddock, who participated in the D-Day landings, the start of the liberation of France and Europe that led to victory of the Allied powers. Our guests of honour today are those veterans from the Normandy landing that came from across our nation and from all walks of life to join in the fight against tyranny. Many of those that took up arms had never seen combat before. Some were still only in their teens. In their letters and diaries, we see their great strength. This is an extract from a letter by Captain Alastair Bannerman of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment, addressed to his wife and written in his diary on the morning of D-Day. It is now 0300 hours in the morning, and I've just been up to the bridge. It is rather light because the moon is shining, though heavy clouds cover her. One can see the row of small ships and of darker balloons silhouetted in front and behind us against the grey sea. You, my angel, sleep gently in the nursery, I hope. Your thoughts have helped me so much. They have given me real strength. I can imagine how you listen to the news at 9 o'clock and think of me with love. I hope that Andrew's golden head rests gently and quietly upon his small pillow, and that Richard is nice and comfortable, lying in his narrow little carry-cot. A long line of flares hangs over Cherbourg, or I suppose it is Cherbourg, and a few anti-aircraft tracer shots go up in the air above the immediate front line. Funny to imagine that their Germans run around their guns. I'd like to know what they are thinking. The whole channel between us and Cherbourg is filled with little ships, which all quietly and efficiently sail towards France. The British, Canadian, and American fighting forces on the warpath. I do not believe that I can now write for very long. We can now see the French coast, and very soon we will have to play our part. I must go now and look for the landing markings with my binoculars to ascertain our landing points. So, my darling, on we go. I know that you are with me. Au revoir, God bless, I love you. Captain Bannerman survived the landings and the war, being taken prisoner and returning home to his wife and sons in April the next year. Too many never returned. They remain in some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. We will always remember those who served and those who waved them off, the mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, who watched their loved ones go into battle, unsure if they would ever return. Today, we remember the bravery of those who crossed this sea to liberate Europe, those who ensured that Operation Overlord was a success, and those who waited for their safe return.
As the Allies prepared for the D-Day invasion, Britain was transformed. Farmers' fields became airfields, and towns and villages became military encampments. As much a cultural shift as a physical one, it was a shock not just for Britons, but also for our foreign visitors. By 1944, troops from more than a dozen nations had arrived, coming from across the world to join the fight for freedom. Many of the 1.5 million Americans had never traveled abroad, but the United States War Department did their best to prepare them by publishing instructions about life in Britain.
Boys, you will soon face the enemy, but before that, you will face the people of Britain, and you must be prepared for both. I present you with a short guide to Great Britain. Let's start with customs and manners. You will quickly discover differences that seem confusing and even wrong, like driving on the left side of the road and drinking warm beer. But once you get used to things like that, you will realize that they belong to England just as baseball and jazz and Coca-Cola belong to us. The British have seen a good many Americans, and they like Americans. They're shy about showing their affections, but once they get to like you, they make the best friends in the world. Don't be misled by the British tendency to be soft-spoken and polite. If they need to be, they can be plenty tough. British soldiers respect the women in uniform. Yeah? They've won the right to the utmost respect. They have pulled aviators from burning planes. They've died at the gun posts. And as they fell, another girl has stepped directly into the position and carried on. Do's and don'ts. Don't make fun of British accents or speech. You sound just as funny to them, but they will be too polite to show it. Never criticize the king or queen. You will soon find yourself among a kindly, quiet, hard-working people who have been living under a strain such as few people in the world have ever known. Let this be your slogan. It is always impolite to criticize your hosts. It is militarily stupid to criticize your allies. Good luck, boys. Oh, and don't forget, try and have a good time.
When the music goes around, everybody goes to town. There is something you should know. Oh, baby, whoa, 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 whoa. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Ooh, ah. Now you're singing with us. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Ooh, ah. Now you're singing with us. Sing, swing, swing, swing. Listen to the trumpet swing. Yeah! I said no. Listen to the trumpets go. When the music goes around, everybody goes to town. There's something you should know. Oh, baby, whoa, 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 whoa. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Ooh, ah. Now you're singing. Da, 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 da. Ooh, yeah. Dwee, doo, doo, dwee, doo, doo, dwee, doo, doo, dwee. Hey, ba, 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 no. Goes around, everybody goes to town. There is something you should know. Oh, baby, oh, sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Ooh, ah, just sing.
These are the memories of Trevor Butler, who was a young child as D-Day approached. Like me, he lived local to Portsmouth. I don't know where they came from. One morning I woke to the sound of strange noises outside our house in Francis Road. I was off to see what it was all about. Breakfast was unimportant. On both sides of the road were military vehicles from one end to the other, and I later found out that these vehicles were parked in all the nearby streets. I rushed back into the house to tell my mother. She told me that they'd arrived after I'd gone to bed the previous evening, and they were preparing to go to war. Most of the soldiers were American. They were very friendly, and I remember sitting with other children, cross-legged, eating a wonderful minced stew, which they cooked in a huge tin. I don't know how they spared the food for us, but after the rationed war years, the food was wonderful. I don't know how long they were there, but our days were filled with wonderful excitement. One morning, I noticed the vehicles were no longer outside our house. Hundreds of different types of army vehicles just disappeared. Where had they gone? It was only in later years that I learned where they went and what they did. Those wonderful men who shared their food with us, many of them not making it back to their families. I and many like me owe them a great debt of gratitude, and I, who met them, will not forget them.
Please welcome to the stage Their Majesties, the King and Queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, 80 years ago today, Field Marshal Montgomery, Commander-in-Chief of the Allied Ground Forces, wrote in his message to all soldiers on the eve of D-Day, "To us is given the honor of striking a blow for freedom which will live in history, and in the better days that lie ahead, men will speak with pride of our doings." Today we come together to honor those nearly 160,000 British, Commonwealth and Allied troops who, on the 5th of June 1944, assembled here and along these shores to embark on the mission which would strike that blow for freedom and be recorded as the greatest amphibious operation in history. Those who gathered here in Portsmouth would never forget the sight. It was by far the largest military fleet the world has ever known. Yet all knew that both victory and failure were possible, and none could know their fate. Aircrew flying overhead, sailors manning warships, or troops in assault craft battering their way through the stormy swell to the shore, whether dropping by parachute, landing in a wooden glider, or taking that terrible leap of faith onto the beaches. All must have questioned whether they would survive and how they would respond when faced with such mortal danger. The poet Keith Douglas, who was killed in action 3 days later, wrote of the embarkation. "Actors waiting in the wings of Europe, we already watch the lights on the stage and listen to the colossal overture begin. For us, entering at the height of the din, it will be hard to hear our thoughts, hard to gauge how much our conduct owes to fear or fury." At this remove, 8 decades later, it is a near impossible task to imagine the emotion of that day. The pride of being part of so great an enterprise, the anxiety of in some way not coming up to scratch, and the fear of that day being their last. I recently myself spoke to veterans who, to this day, remember with such heartbreaking clarity the sight of those many soldiers lying on the beach who drowned before they could even engage in combat. The stories of courage, resilience, and solidarity, which we have heard today and throughout our lives, cannot fail to move us, to inspire us, and to remind us of what we owe to that great wartime generation, now tragically dwindling to so few. It is our privilege to hear their testimony, but our role is not purely passive. It is our duty to ensure that we and future generations do not forget their service and their sacrifice in replacing tyranny with freedom. Our rights and the liberty won at such terrible cost bring with them responsibilities to others in the exercise of that liberty. The Allied actions of that day ensured the forces of freedom secured first a toehold in Normandy, then liberated France, and ultimately the whole of Europe from the stranglehold of a brutal totalitarianism. And as we remember with humility, pride, and gratitude, let us never forget that the soldiers who fought in the campaign launched from this place came from 30 nations, from across the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth, and Allied countries, while elsewhere in Europe, Allied forces continued to make vital progress in their successful Italian campaign. And while halfway around the world, at that same moment, the critical battles of Imphal and Kohima raged on in what was then Burma. The 1944 Victoria Cross Roll of Honor includes Sikh, Muslim, and Hindu soldiers. A reminder that events that year shaped our world then and the society we share today. While it was the frontline troops who faced the greatest personal dangers, the privations and sacrifices of war were endured by so many more. The Allied victory was a truly collective effort, born of the fortitude and hard work of those who remained on the home front, toiling in factories, under our land in the mines, out in the fields, or working in secret, men and women alike. Their collective industry, ingenuity, and commitment helped our soldiers, sailors, and airmen to prevail. So, as we give thanks for all those who gave so much to win the victory, whose fruits we still enjoy to this day, let us once again commit ourselves always to remember, cherish, and honor those who served that day and to live up to the freedom they died for by balancing rights with civic responsibilities to our country. For we are all eternally in their debt.
The D-Day landings were planned using information that had come from Bletchley.
On D-Day, we thought something big was happening.
If we hadn't managed to break the codes, then we might not have won the war. I was 17 when I decided to join the Wrens, just an ordinary schoolgirl. We were taken into a room with the leading Wren, and she said, "We are doing very secret work."
You didn't even know what the person in the next hut or the next room even was doing.
The only thing we were ever told is, we are breaking German codes. The more codes we broke, the more Nazis we would kill.
And at Bletchley, I was typing decoded messages that were sent out to wireless stations on the front line. And there were all various positions of the German army and the German navy. Sometimes I would say, "Oh, I'm chasing a U-boat."
Just like old times. As an operator, you were 8 hours on your feet. My shoes were always wearing out. When the machine stopped, all you knew was your machine maybe had helped to break the code.
When it was D-Day, I was on night duty, and one of the girls said, it's going to be very busy, and it was.
What we did was in paramount importance for saving thousands of lives.
I just feel proud that I had some involvement in helping to win the war.
Yes, I think we women did very well.
The code breakers of Bletchley, like Ruth and Gladys, armed the Allies with a formidable weapon: information. And they weren't the only ones. The secret war of the French resistance had long been raging. But now their quest to sabotage the enemy was essential. Made up of men and women from all walks of life, they were instrumental to the liberation of France, frequently destroying communications and damaging railway lines. This army of quiet disruptors, skilled, who also gathered vital intelligence, were often directed by the British Special Operations Executive. Tasked by Winston Churchill to set Europe ablaze, the SOE were trained in the art of combat, spying, and bomb-making.
In May 1944, at just 23, wireless operator Pippa Latour was parachuted into France. It was the dead of night. This is her story. I looked up at the light above me, waiting for it to change as the signal to exit the aircraft. The dispatcher shouted, "Go!" I pushed myself through the hole into the night sky. I was happy with the way I landed, but the wind was troublesome and blew my parachute towards a nearby tree, dragging me along with it. Hearing a scuffle behind me, I spun around to see a young man. He told me that we needed to move fast. I was to cross the forest alone, and someone would meet me at the other side. It was nerve-wracking, walking through the trees. A woman dressed in a mustard yellow French suit, complete with Sten gun and revolver. How could I possibly explain any of this to a German soldier? Clearly I could not, so it was best that I avoided them. My new identity paperwork arrived the next morning. I would be working in the middle of the second line of the Germans' defense, a very dangerous place to be. The area I would cover lay along the Normandy coast. My job was to take down what England sent to me to decode and to send them my encoded messages. Passing on information that was dangerous in the wrong hands, with lethal repercussions, felt remarkably normal in quite a short amount of time.
D-Day was on the horizon. In preparation for the landings, the brief to the SOE was to destroy all lines of German communication and to blow up railways, telephone lines, and fuel depots. We all knew that D-Day would be a pivotal turning point in the war. If successful, the beginning of the end of Nazi Germany's control of Western Europe. Pippa received multiple awards for her extraordinary bravery, including an MBE. She went on to have a family and was one of the last surviving SOE agents out of more than 400 that were sent to France.
In a war of vast destruction, a brotherhood was built. On D-Day, more than 130,000 soldiers from across the Allied nations would need to land on a 50-mile stretch of treacherous coastline. As troops descended from ships laden with weaponry and supplies, the brutal onslaught of German firepower began. Yet despite the grave risks, many young men were desperate to serve, fighting for freedom and for their comrades in arms.
If you liked your country and someone was trying to take it, would you sit back? If you had a duty, you had to do what you could. Well, I went into the recruiting office and the bloke said, "How old are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm 15. And he said, "If you came in here and told me you were 18, you could join the Royal Sussex Regiment." And I thought, well, I'll have a go. And I went back in. That was it. They said, "Well, you'll be a wireless operator." All day and every day we were banging Morse code, Morse code. It was like learning a new language. We knew there was going to be an invasion. We had no idea where it was. There was an element, I suppose, of excitement, a lot of apprehension. One night we went along to Southampton. The whole area was stuffed full of troops. We only allowed to take one blanket. They said, "That's if you get killed, you're buried in your blanket." We had to write our will. You understood that, you know, if you didn't come home, you didn't come home, and that was it. There was this ship there with its mouth wide open, never seen anything like it before. And they gave us this map, and they said, "This is it, you're going to Normandy, and that's where you're landing." The biggest worry, can we do the job? Are we capable? We don't want to let anybody down. Every unit had wireless communications. You had to get the message through. Somebody's life would depend on that message. When you're in the military, you join a family. You fight for the bloke next to you. People ask me why I wear the medals. Well, I don't wear them for me. I wear them for the blokes who can't wear them, blokes who never came back. Well, you look back and you think to yourself, well, I'm damn lucky.
Little high, little low, everything in between. When you're caught in the cold and you can't find your feet, if you're losing control and you're low on belief, just put it on me, put it on me. I will be there when you need a hand. I will never let you go. When you're lonely and you need a friend, you can call me. I'll be there till the I've been broken before, I've been down on my luck, had my heart on the floor, and I couldn't get up. Your smile was my hope, brought me out of the blue. You let me put it on you, put it on you. I will be there when you need a hand. I will never let you go. When you're lonely and you're needing a friend, you can call me. I'll be there till the end. When you're falling and you don't understand, you can call me. I'll be there till the end. 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 When you're lonely and you're needing a friend, you can call me. I'll be there till the end. When you're falling and you don't understand, you can call me. I'll be there till the end.
D-Day was a naval operation unlike any other. Alongside Allied servicemen, thousands of vehicles and tons of supplies would need to cross the perilous, mine-filled seas of the Channel and land on the beaches. A task so difficult, new craft had to be invented and floating harbours created to resupply troops. The Mulberry harbours reflected the best of British ingenuity and collaboration. With warships providing unmatched gunfire support, this would be one of the Royal Navy's finest hours, and a moment in history that will forever be etched in the memories of those who lived it.
Build up to D-Day. I was sent across to HMS Belfast to collect a top-secret package. And I thought at the time, I wonder if that's our orders. In my mind's eye, I could see it was going to be heavily involved with lots of ships. You had a good idea it was going to be pretty noisy. I had been selected to talk to the Spitfire pilots. I was very proud of my position.
My role was submarine detector. I wasn't told why I was signing this Official Secret Act until I was put on a submarine and told that I was using a secret weapon to destroy U-boats. It was one of those very important jobs. As far as the eye could see, right to the horizon, I could see ships of all shapes and sizes.
It was a huge armada of ships.
We were doing our job. Each one knew what we were doing, and if one didn't do their job properly, the whole ship was in danger.
I had to concentrate and clear my mind of anything extraneous to the task in hand.
It was a question of doing what you were trained to do and hope for the best.
We got ourselves allocated position and we were in a line. Everybody opened fire. Huge crash of guns. Noise was immense.
I was 27 foot beneath the waterline. All we could hear below was explosions. I can't remember being scared. Even now, when I go over to Normandy, I feel an immense sense of pride to have taken part in the invasion.
I thought how proud I was to be there and to have this front seat view of this historical moment in time. Never been done before, and it'll never be done again.
The Allies were poised for battle, but there remained one final hurdle: the weather. Success depended on calm conditions in the Channel. Anything less could be a disaster. Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, General Eisenhower, would give the final order for D-Day, planned for June the 5th. But his decision would rest on the advice of British meteorologist, Group Captain James Stagg.
I had to go before General Eisenhower and his commanders twice a day during those fateful days down in Southwark House behind Portsmouth. As the time went on, the seriousness of the whole situation got worse until by the Saturday night, 3rd of June, it became clear that there would be a storm in the Channel area on the Sunday night and the Monday. Next morning, General Eisenhower suspended the whole operation. That day, Sunday the 4th of June, was a day of dreadful tension. And then, mercifully, miraculously, the almost unbelievable happened. We spotted 2 reports from the Atlantic indicating there might be an interlude. And if it arrived in the Channel at the proper time, it might just allow for the operation to get started again. So, when we arrived to deliver the news, it was tense and grave. I stood just inside the door. Admiral Ramsay said, "Let's be clear. If Overlord is to proceed on Tuesday, I must issue provisional warnings to my forces within the next half hour." Well, we were not likely to be further required, so withdrew. In the hall just outside the conference room, groups of senior staff were standing about waiting to hear what had been decided. General Eisenhower came out almost immediately and said, "Well, Stagg, we're putting it on again. Now, for heaven's sake, hold the weather to what you told us, and don't bring any more bad news."
A few hours later, he deserved that for the weather report, didn't he? A few hours later, early in the morning of Monday the 5th of June, the Allied commanders met one final time. It was here that Stagg confirmed one of the most important weather predictions in the history of meteorology. The forecast was good. Eisenhower gave the order. D-Day was on.
Near Portsmouth, on shore at HMS Tormentor, Maureen Bolster was a naval wren. With her boyfriend stationed in the Middle East, she would write letters to him every week. This one was dated the 5th of June, 1944. We're gated. No one can phone in or out. Dearest Eric, I probably won't even try and send this letter to you for several days. Our craft have all slipped away. Still, we're not absolutely sure it's the real thing. The weather's so cold, grey and windy. Some are wondering if it's another big exercise, but in my heart, I'm sure. I'm trying not to think of individuals. The crew of 516, the stripy off 515 that sparks with a lovely smile, Pixie McNabb's boyfriend, the bearded jock. So many marvelous young men. I'm haunted by the memory of passing the soccer field the other day and seeing masses of young commando lads resting with tin helmets and kit. Some were lying asleep in the sun. They looked so heartbreakingly young, I could hardly bear it, and tears ran down my cheeks. Where are they now? Patricia's gone on night duty. Anne is silent. Pam, Moll and I are restless, and I doubt if we'll sleep well tonight. Both Maureen and her boyfriend Eric survived the war.
On the eve of D-Day, as soldiers steeled themselves along this shore, a personal message from General Bernard Montgomery, commanding all Allied ground forces, was read to all troops.
This reading is a personal message from General Montgomery, Commander-in-Chief of the 21st Army Group. It was to be read out to all troops on the eve of D-Day. The time has come to deal the enemy a terrific blow in Western Europe. The blow will be struck by the combined sea, land, and air forces of the Allies, together constituting one great Allied team under the supreme command of General Eisenhower. On the eve of this great adventure, I send my best wishes to every soldier in the Allied team. To us is given the honor of striking a blow for freedom which will live in history. And in the better days that lie ahead, men will speak with pride at our doings. We have a great and righteous cause. Let us pray that the Lord mighty in battle will go forth with our armies, and that his special providence will aid us in the struggle. I want every soldier to know that I have complete confidence in the successful outcome of the operations that we are now about to begin. With stout hearts and enthusiasm for the contest, let us go forward to victory. And as we enter battle, let us recall the words of a famous soldier spoken many years ago. He either fears his fate too much, or his deserts are small, who dare not put it to the touch to win or lose it all. Good luck to each one of you, and good hunting on the mainland of Europe.
A letter written by Captain Jack Lee of the Royal Artillery to his wife 2 days before D-Day. Darling Olive, if you read this letter, I've been reported killed. I asked Reg to send it to you as there's just a few things I couldn't put into an ordinary letter. Firstly, thank you for everything. You have been the most wonderful wife any man could ever have had. I can't imagine any way we could have been happier, except to have been together more. Oh, I've been terribly lucky to have found you out of all the world and to have been so happy. Teach the boys, not so much about church, but about God. At times like these, we need some extra support. I pray that you'll get it. And let them like all the splendid things. Birds, and trees, and sunsets, and books, and music, and friendship. I've loved all these things next to you, darling. As for me, you know I'd sooner be in the army than anywhere at the moment. I believe we are on the right side of this war. I mustn't grumble if anything happens, and I'll try not to. A love like ours doesn't just stop. I can only believe we shall be together again one day. God bless you, dearest one. Until we meet again. Captain Lee died on June the 7th as his regiment advanced through Normandy.
By the time the sun had set on D-Day, thousands of Allied lives had been lost. The Normandy campaign would claim tens of thousands more in the weeks to come, a generation of brothers, fathers, and sons who never made the journey home. But their sacrifice was not in vain. The course of the Second World War had been altered. The fight for democracy would soon be won.
Across the ports of southern England, as nightfall fell, some stopped to pray. A monumental Operations Eve was 80 years ago today. They watched and waited for their window, calculated tides and tempestuous weather. And as Normandy slept, the stage was set for a day that would change the world forever. The paratroopers prepared for their perilous passage. The Royal Air Force soared toward enemy lines, and a naval fleet of a scale unrivaled traversed a channel chocked with mines. And soldiers, most barely in their 20s, armed with fortitude so few acquire, faced with a fate we just can't fathom, each charged head first into that fire. For a second, contemplate that courage, that sacrifice so void of self, to give your life to foster freedom for the benefit of someone else. When the longest day was finally finished and they'd seized a foothold on that ground, because of all who bravely bore that burden, the Atlantic wall came crashing down. That's why we dwell on D-Day decades later, why we mark such days from history, why we honor those that were dealt that duty and protect their lasting legacy, why we gather together to give recognition. It's a promise, a vow that will not cease to show gratitude for the lives and the future they fought for in a safety and freedom that they'll never know. It's why we teach each fresh new generation to stay connected in one common way. And as long as their stories are never forgotten, we'll remember the people who gave us today.
Joined by his son-in-law Keith and great-granddaughters Annabelle and Imogen, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage D-Day veteran Eric Bateman.
I served on HMS Erebus. If there's anybody here that did so, please get in touch with me. We were with the American fleet on the way to Utah Beach, where there were ships as far as you could see. You could almost walk across the channel. I'm lucky to be here 80 years later with two of my great-grandchildren. So many men and women, including my dear friend Fred, who joined up with me, but unfortunately never made it. I'm proud to be here today to honor them and to make sure they will always be remembered. Thank you.
We want to thank our great-grandfather and all the veterans of D-Day and the Normandy landings.
Without them, we would not have the freedom we enjoy today.
We will never forget. Thank you.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you'll never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, life will still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me, so what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you.
I don't know what we would have done without you.
Oh, yes. No.
Bless you.
I'm very glad I got back.
Well, we may see some more of you in Normandy tomorrow, I hope.
Yes, I think I have got something coming up.
Good. Well, I hope they give you a very stiff drink at the end of it.
It's my father. Yes.
Very good sign. Great pleasure. I'm so glad they've been keeping a good eye on you today.
Oh, yes, he's been singing along.
Yeah, you're singing, yeah. Because I think it was that was you, wasn't it, on the film, I think.
Yeah. Oh, could have been.
Wasn't
Could have been, yeah.
Could have
Probably
been,
singing,
yes.
was it? Hello, sir.
No, because were you in the army?
No, I was in the Navy.
It was the Navy, that's right, yes.
Good.
He
was a beach commander.
A beach commander.
Yeah, just a small boat.
You remember it all as if it was yesterday. So, did you then leave the Navy straight after the end of the war, or did you stay on for a bit?
Guys, it's very nice to meet you. Did you?
Thank you.
No, I didn't say thank you. We're all here to say thank you to you guys. And all your colleagues. I'm glad the weather held up for us today as well. Thank you very much. Very nice to see you. Very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you too.
So whereabouts?
Say again? Oh, are you? Okay. Where were you on D-Day?
Where were you? Dad, what ship were you on?
Ramillies. HMS Ramillies. And what was your role on the day? What was your role? What did you end up doing on the day?
They're ready. Apparently the Ramillies was supporting stuff going ashore, but we never really talked to them about it.
I really did
to bomb the land, bomb the enemy positions. That's
Right.
what the Ramillies was doing.
Does it bring back a lot of memories today? I bet the weather wasn't like it is today.
Portsmouth?
Terrific.
Our father was right, yes.
On board on the HMS Ramillies we were. Well, Philip.
I know,
Wasn't it?
The battleship.
Yeah, battleship.
It must have been marvellous.
It was.
Because he's got a wonderful watercolour of that ship.
Is it really?
In the bathroom. All these other ships.
Well, they wrote a book about it, the ship, and Philip wrote the foreword of the book.
So you weren't there at the same time?
No, just at the start.
So have you reached 100 yet?
Well, 99 now, and I was on the one.
I'm afraid I was a war baby, so I've learned all about it. Anyway, it's lovely to meet you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Come with me. Hello. Is this all your family too?
Yes, it is.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to. So where have you come from today? Oh, near Chichester. Oh,
We're not too far.
Oh, not too far. Just down the coast.
So are you going to go back today?
No, tomorrow.
And not coming to Normandy?
No.
Because we'll see a few.
That's right. Yeah, we just have to pick a few out.
Well, I hope they give you a restorative drink. Is he looking after you?
Yes.
Yes.
Behind us.
Are you here? Are you in Portsmouth?
I work at HMS Excellent, so
As a submarine?
I'm an intelligence branch now, so.
Anyway, I'm very proud to become
Well, I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you talk much about it at home about D-Day? Has it brought back my memories?
Just recently.
Asked him to go for
You'll be well looked after. HMS Prince of Wales.
Yes, well, I was there also.
Well, yes, of course. Yes.
HMS Exeter.
HMS Exeter, yes.
Gunnery school.
Well, we landed there just now in Hellen.
Did you?
Well, I was
2 years ago.
Oh,
so
I
he's not
see.
going tomorrow.
He's not going tomorrow. No, so we're nice and warm in the sunshine here. Are you?
I was Mum's granddaughter.
Oh, you're a granddaughter.
Yes.
Very nice.
Hello, daughter.
All the family. Lovely. So you were serving in. What were you serving in? I can't recognise.
It's the Royal Engineers.
Oh, Royal Engineers.
Yes.
You did a fantastic job.
And I was there until 45.
And then left.
Yes, unfortunately, I'd already asked for a competitor.
I've met so many all my life. And first of all, yeah, I remember the last one. How many D-Day parades have you Did she see it? Oh, fantastic. That's really good. And where were you on D-Day?
I was stationed on Hailing Island with the combined operations.
Doing what exactly?
I was a cook.
I don't know, sir. So where have you had the channels from? Where are you living near?
Jersey Channel. Got a little rock to do, Nelly.
I think I do. Well, I went to the game very important right now.
Oh, really? You went there once before, digging a hole in there.
It was years and years ago.
That was it. Yeah, did you ever go there again? Did you go back?
We will be going to Jersey and Guernsey, I hope.
Oh, that's nice.
So then we might catch a glimpse of it there.
Hey, it's nice to see you.
Which time you were?
Remy.
Yeah. So did we go all the way through the war? Or was this the
No,
last 2
I
years?
landed on Juno Beach. Not by myself, I
Unbelievable, there must be. But the amount of
it's like a fireworks display. But when you're young.
And you were all right, you didn't get hit.
I was young once.
Well, I'm so glad they're good on us. They give you some money. I tried to back them up.
They must be just going to friends of mine. I've never seen them before.
It's wonderful you were here. Thank you for what you did all those years ago.
No, exactly.
So thank you very, very much. Many, many thank you for sharing. Very clever. I think it's time you have to sit down.
I have such happy memories of him and my great uncle. I adored him. Was that in those days? Where were you? Which department? Down here or was it back in London? No. Hailing Island.
Oh, very flattered. Thank you very much. Well, look after you.
We will.
Oh, we've got the television here. We'll just take you again. Lovely, thank you. Nice to see you. I'm going to be good.
That terrible lottery paid. Anyway, thank God we owe them so much for this to do.
Are you the
so
of that day?
so lovely.
Of that DJ?
Goodness.
Well, I started young.
You must have been very young.
19.
You were 19. You always forget how young you were. You know, I suppose, did you have a great feeling of fear?
Oh, yes. Yes. You've got a very good memory. In fact, I can't remember anything. Anyway, I see you in the RAF. So were you then involved in planning or? In what direction? You didn't get here to have to bail out of it. So was the Wellington quite a robust? With a tail?
What was it all like in the morning? Was it like they said it today, the weather changed?
Terrible. We set sail on the June 2nd, that was on a Friday. Because D-Day was supposed to be June 5th, wasn't it, on Monday. And the weather was so bad, we had to go back into the Atlantic in circles the ships. All the
really?
Ships.
Was the sea state quite bad in the Channel?
It was. Still bad.
And did you feel like there was something building beforehand? Was there the anxiety?
Well, we had no idea. We were doing no sea trials and guns. We know something's going to happen, yeah.
But it must have been amazing, the logistics to get everyone to go at the same time.
It's marvellous.
An enormous
Marvellous.
project.
Marvellous.
They was all up for it. Apparently, when they were told that they were going, all the Marines threw their mugs up against the side of the ship and let's go, let's go.
Yeah, it was on tea time when the captain spoke.
Was there, yeah?
He said, the captain speaking, he said,
yeah.
Sorry, he said, we're going out on the mission now to the liberation of France. Of course, we're in the outside, they threw the cups on the bulkhead. We got no cups then.
Yeah. I'm sure that wasn't what they were worried about at the time. Never mind the cups.
But it's wonderful that he's here. Yes. And enjoyed it, I hope. Good. Thank you. So has your family been looking after you very carefully? Your father? And all
his granddaughter, Alfred Littlefield.
So, and lots of great-grandchildren?
Yes, about five grandchildren, yes.
Really?
Yes. About 5, yes.
So are you living at home? On your own?
Yes.
And managing all right? Because it's suited to wheelchairs, is it? It's a bungalow.
Yes.
So were you in the engineers or what?
Yes.
It's amazing your hearing's so good.
No.
Still very good.
I've done it.
Still very good. But I found it very moving, hearing the stories and the letters, particularly the letters to loved ones. I find that's very moving. Even now, 80 years later, it's still, everyone can feel that. Well, listen, it's very nice to see you.
And you, thank you very much indeed.
No, thank you. We're all here to say thank you to you. That's the thing.
Yeah, thank
very
you.
important. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you for your time.
All the same family? Roberts? Roberts? Royal Navy Beach Commander, it says, in Saw Beach.
Yes.
It's me. I've never been to Saw Beach. I'm going to Juneau tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I've not been to Saw Beach. Have you been back a few times?
Yeah, no.
Been back once.
Back in the 60s.
How did you find going back then? Was it very moving, going back and seeing? It's probably very different to what it was 60 to 80 years ago. I found the service very, very moving. The letters and the history. It's
How many were involved as well?
This is it. And the whole mission, the whole logistics mission, everything about it was enormous. Huge. Does it bring it back to you like days like today, Robert? Does it?
It does a bit.
Yeah. Are the memories of D-Day still very clear in your head?
Thank you.
Did you land?
Sometimes it does, doesn't it? You don't really want to keep it on there.
Exactly.
It's an amazing thing they did.
It is. We'll hear Robert say a big thank you to you. Thank you. Or you and all your colleagues and friends, those who didn't make it back. It's lovely to meet you today.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. Everything. Yes. I had a very good time. Oh, did you? Oh, good. I'm very good.
The whole event.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well done, Bob.
You spoke brilliantly. Does it how do you feel coming back and reliving D-Day? Is that quite a big deal?
Yes, it is actually. Yes, it does make you think. You think that probably the last one.
No, never. Not with you.
5 years.
I can see you got another. There's another 2 more in you. Definitely. But it's amazing how you've all kept yourselves in such good shape all these years.
I'm just over 90.
Are you really? 99?
Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm a stalker from that's his son. You've actually met this gentleman before.
I'm sure I have.
In Colchester.
Being a para.
Yeah. In Colchester Barracks.
So did you actually jump out of an aircraft?
How many times did you jump?
80 on.
80 on. But at the time of D-Day...
One operation?
No. He went in as a reserve after D-Day itself.
Really?
Yeah, he joined the 8th Battalion in a little village called Hereford.
At least they dropped you in the right place. Because that's always the worry, isn't it, when you have it on the map?
Yeah. But he's 99.
99. So when is your 100th birthday?
19th of August.
Of August.
This year.
But I hope we will have our card ready for you.
Can I just get a picture of you just shaking his hand? Is that right?
We are going to send you an invite.
Oh, will you?
We don't go far from
for his birthday party? They give you another stiff drink today. Bless you. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Are you looking after
Very proud. So recognised.
And have you got just one good friend at the time?
I do.
You fighting alongside guys you knew really well?
Well, no, I didn't, because I only joined the regiment at the end of May.
Oh, really? So you were...
They'd come back from the desert.
Oh, had they? So they all knew each other quite well?
They all knew each other, but I was, sort of a youngster.
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much, honestly.
Okay.
And well spoken, honestly. I thought it was very powerful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you. Very nice to meet you all. Very proud.
They came back, some of them?
No, not really,
Because they all disappeared.
Well, they came back, but they were in and out and in and out.
And did you make some very good friends in those days?
Yes.
In the Res?
Yes.
But I suppose there are not many left.
No, there aren't any.
Old friends.
Very
Sad.
good friends at all. I mean, I'm going to be 100 in January.
You're not?
Yes.
Oh.
So we met some of them.
Should be thinking.
We met some of the palace a couple of weeks ago. The Heroes event. We met Anne. Mum said, we are going round the gardens. So we looked around and saw your hand. Well done. The azaleas were spectacular.
Were they? It did look quite good then.
Yes.
Very happy birthday. rather naval man. Don't even think about it.
I can recognise the tie, Your Majesty. With family and carer.
Carer.
Very important person.
I know. Are you still at home? Are you able to be at home? No. Which is all right, I hope. Have you reached 100 You are remarkable. So were you sailing in a ship at the time
It was a naval ship.
Oh, yes.
They were laying the buoys to mark the channels for Canadians.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Them to good work at the moment in the Red Sea, so they're doing a good job for us. Do you know, I was at first, I spent the night on one of your destroyers, HMS Diamond. So I was the first Prime Minister to sleep a night on one of our frigate destroyers since whenever it was, 50 years ago, and that was some months ago, and then that was our destroyer that has gone out to the Red Sea and is dealing with the Houthis.
They didn't threaten you with keel hauling, did they?
No, they didn't. They actually, do you know what? They gave me a very nice breakfast. Well, I served the breakfast in the morning, but it was very good. No, I didn't cook it. I served it out. I think I did the final bit.
Your wife was laughing.
And I know she's not massively, not got a confidence in my...
the scrambled eggs.
Yeah, actually, my scrambled eggs are quite good.
You had a bone, not a hammock.
I had, you know what, the captain was, it's a tradition apparently, the captain gave up his bunk.
The map. She did the maps for Normandie landing. She did the maps. So she's 104 next month.
She's thinking.
Yeah. I know, it's frightening, isn't it?
Because I remember, I came across several times the last of the First World War. There's a lovely man called Harry Pitt. He was the Duke of Cornwall's right in. He was 111 when he is to never forgotten. Oh dear. And you've got a very good daughter, I'm sure, to keep an eye on. And thank you for all the things you did all those years. No, it's the least we can say. I hope to see some more veterans tomorrow in Normandy.
Yes, perhaps they were there too.
Yes, exactly.
You're 100.
I'll be 100.
Joe.
101 in August.
101 in August. Goodness me. It's amazing.
Doing my best. I don't know, it's right here.
No, it's not like that. You guys are all built of different stuff, that's for sure. Definitely. It's very impressive. And you landed on which beach?
But not these days. We was on the advanced airstrips, what do we call ourselves?
You're 100 years old now. My goodness me. No, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful to see you here. So it must be a very proud moment for you.
Well, I found out a lot of things that I didn't know before, actually. Getting her to talk and explain
things. It's always, she talks a lot about things.
She always says it was very secret, don't you, Mike?
It was very secret. You knew how to keep secrets in those days. Quite right, too. I know. My father never talked, ever. No, he just said it was their business. Anyway, thank you very much for everything you did.
The weather was nice today.
It was. Well, it was a bit chilly up on the stage.
You were right in the sun here, Mum.
You were right, so you were in the best place. Anyway, it's lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for everything you've done. Thank you very much. It's very Very nice to see you.
And nice to see you.
Yes.
And you do look lovely in pink.
Oh, that's very kind. It's a bit chilly up on that stairs.
Yes, isn't it?
You're in a nice place here in the sunshine.
Yes, it's nice, yes. Getting round.
You're looking very smart and very young, if I may say.
I'm very lucky, aren't I? Yes. I should be 19.
Well, you've done very well. You obviously keep very fit.
It's a what?
Yes. Does she nag at you?
Sorry?
Does she nag at you?
Oh, every now.
Yeah, just,
When it says so.
just keep it all.
Keep it all.
So whereabouts were you at D-Day?
I was actually on HMS Erebus on a monitor and with the American warships on the Utah.
Oh, goodness, you're in Utah with all the Americans.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Goodness.
And we found that we moved over to other beaches, rather,
yes,
and carried on. Our job was mainly 15-inch guns, I don't know if you know, that helped the troops to advance as we went along.
Exactly. And do you remember it like yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Actually. A lot of it I do.
Yeah, yes. It's extraordinary, isn't it, how sort of memory comes back.
It's gone so quickly.
Yeah, I know, but it does get... Well, I'm glad all the young are.
Yes.
Did you know at the time how significant the stuff you were doing was?
I think they did, because I've signed up for secrecy.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell our mothers.
I know this thing. Well, Catherine's, my wife's grandmother, she served at Bletchley as well.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. She was the missionary thing. She did the same sort of things.
Yes.
But we only found out, Catherine only found out at the very end of her life. That's what we were doing.
You're very good at keeping
I know, you ladies are very good at keeping secrets. Don't tell anyone. But Patricia, it's so nice to see you.
Lovely to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
We must do it again.
Absolutely. Next year.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
You guys, I'm sure you want to go and have a drink and a chat. I know what you like doing. Have a good drink and a chat.
Nice to meet you.
Eric, very nice to see you, Eric.
And you indeed. You're the wonderful job. Yes, I know I would like it as a person. What are you doing about it?
Yes, I hope so. No, I hope so. Yes. Yeah, I hope so. But I'm all right. It's a very good doctor. As long as you're all right, that's the main thing. Does help. So are you able to live at home?
You moved, didn't you, last year? And I'm into care home in Barnet.
Food's not good.
They have lovely food, don't they? But you're not very... anyway.
Anyway, it's a great joy you're here today. Thank you for everything you did. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's right. You met 5 years.
Where?
On the road.
It's wonderful you've been able to get us before.
Yeah.
Well, that's not nice. It's Kevin behind. This is my son, Kevin. He's organised everything. Oh, it's so...
But you haven't had to come too far.
Oh, I see that.
Well, we came, Kevin's from London. We're from now. Nice, we were there. Kevin's pushing him into he's driven us on the pathway.
So are you able to live in your own home still?
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Have you also reached the same age?
I was a cradle.
You were cradle. It's keeping you young.
That one's yours.
I see. In a 5. fast. They're 85. To the end.
I'm president.
Friends. I tried to encourage Pat with her wartime memories to write a book of memoir.
Not quite ready for I got my father to be
So were you looking out for the outcome? Well, anyway, they were remarkable aircraft. I'm so pleased I've been able to fly in one.
Have you really?
Yes. Well, in a two-seater, so I was taken up years ago. It's a blue one, two-seater. Well, I don't know whether this Anyway, bless him. It's such a pleasure. Take care of yourself. You got all your family here as well. It's your family here.
Well, I'm family. And these are great friends who helped.
Oh, I see, and a great friend.
Immensely.
Keeping a good eye.
Absolutely, sir.
Are you based down here?
I'm based in Collingwood, sir.
Because were you a Wren?
I was indeed. I was a Wren special.
Yeah, how would you learn German? I always remember the
Refugee. Housemaid at home. And I spent my evenings before war was talking German.
So did you help with translation?
I didn't do anything.
I don't understand you.
I just tuned in. This is nothing.
Who did you?
Whoever's wanted. Elvis from the Larwood family. German. That was me.
I try very hard with my German, but it's not nearly as good as yours.
Oh, I'm sure I did.
No, I do.
Oh, maybe we should have a German.
Well, exactly. But are you all living in the vicinity?
Pat is in Chiswick.
Chiswick.
I live in
I
Devonshire,
see.
but her niece and nephew are abroad, so we keep in close touch.
And you're going back at the end of the day.
Yes.
I must go back for my cap.
Yes, exactly. But it's such a joy to see you here. Yes, take care of yourself.
Nice to meet you.
I must say, I think it's unfair that you have to do all this work when you should be eating. Don't you think so? I mean, you have to get...
Never mind.
I really do. I think so. I must tell His Majesty.
Well, you're very kind.
I'm not at all, but because...
I was rather hoping it's only now that I begin to be a bit useful.
Is that fine? If you feel okay?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I think so. But are you ex-Navy?
Yes. Or just during the war.
Exactly. But did you join 2 years before D-Day or?
I joined in 1943.
43.
During the summer, and then trained at HMS Collingwood, and then they put me down into Plymouth, and we picked up the little old monitor called the Erebus.
Yes. Yes. So are you living down here now?
No, we're living in Edenbridge, Kent. Yes, I've got to. So my son-in-law and the children.
Right. Are they all here?
Oh, they're all here.
Look, you did so well. You were brilliant. And your great-grandmother.
Yes, indeed.
I was so impressed because it wasn't very easy, was it, Steph?
That's kind of it.
It's the whole family.
Yes, I made the effort.
Are they all taking turns to look after you?
I think they are.
or keep you entertained?
Yes.
Have you got a birthday coming up soon?
Yes, the end of December, they'll make me 99.
99?
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, most of you have to be very nearly 100.
Yes. Well, they are.
There's one lady who's 103. But you're keeping all right.
Yes, just a little bit of fun. I'm okay with the normal.
You are amazing. It's lovely to see you all. It was, wasn't it? Did you enjoy all the performance? I was wondering when the fly past was going. Always difficult to coordinate. Anyway, take care.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you did all those years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Isn't that good?
Friends as well.
So what about you, Rob?
Did you do all the beaches? Or just our ones?
I tried to draw from me really large scale.
Well, that'll be
You must have been quite good artists as well. Painting now.
Oddly enough, she said just the other day, she was a bit worried that she might have got a few wrong. I thought rather sad 80 years, but she's still worrying about it.
I think you did a brilliant job. You wouldn't have found where they were going without your match, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, there must be someone we can ask if your maps do still exist. I'm sure there's someone who shows. It's lovely to meet you, though.
Lovely to meet you. It's very nice.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, hello. You see my father, he's gone, been and gone. Jeffrey, you're on HMS Astral. Lane Boys and Juno.
Yes.
When you say Lane Boys, was that so the ships knew where they were going to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Landing, yeah.
Because I imagine even if you turn out, they would have been confused which beach they were going to go on.
Well, I must say, Juno was a little beachhead.
Was it? I'm going there tomorrow.
Well, it was calm.
Was it?
It was for the Canadian.
Was it one of the hardest beaches?
I think it was. Yeah, probably the Americans was pretty awful. I hope that. Oh, I was going to ask you if your wife was getting any better.
Yes, she'd love to be here today. I was reminding everyone that her grandmother served epilepsy. So she had quite a few in common with some of the ladies here who are epilepsy. We never spoke about anything until the very end.
It was secret.
Yeah, all very secret, exactly.
Yes. Oh, well, that's very good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jeffrey, it's lovely to see you.
It's good to see you.
And we'll see you in 5 years' time for the 85th, all right? Nice to see you. Hazel, hello.
Hello.
You said it says visual signaller, is that right?
I was, yes.
On where?
No, it's not there. We're all over, up in Scotland. Quite a lot at the time. They come down D-Day, so ready for the landing off. We've been training up there to go over. Now we're down here at Gloucester. On D-Day night, I was on watch when I came off after the last dog. And I walked back along to the Reverie. We couldn't see water from here to the Isle of Wight.
Because of the boats?
Yes, sir. And I came back on watch from Bordeaux and all gone. I walked back along water, water to the island.
It must, I was saying to the others, it must have been incredible. I mean, the logistical operation was enormous to be able to move everyone around. Absolutely incredible. The others have been wheeled off, so I'm going to quickly say, I'm going to keep you waiting out here, Hazel. It's so nice to see you. And we'll see you in 5 years' time.
Good luck.
You too, Hazel. Nice to see you. Len, hello. Very nice to see you. It says here, Len, you're 8th Battalion. It says here on your badge you serve with 8th Battalion. Parachute Regiment, is it? And fought in the area of Ken. Where was that?
CERN is in Mike. Where's CERN?
was
Sorry,
Sir?
this is his son. This is his son, Mike.
How you doing?
Oh, nice to
Very
meet you,
nice.
sir.
That's it. That's it.
Where was Sen? Where was that? Where was he in Sen? This is fought in the area of Sen.
He actually joined the 8th Battalion at a little village called Terre-Villette. Yeah, it's just outside. It's not far from Sannerville, the actual drop zone of the 8th Battalion.
And so you were parachuting on the day, were you?
No, he went in as a reserve after.
Oh, you went reserve afterwards?
Yeah. So,
Done the wrong crossing.
And how did you find, coming back to these D-Day ceremonies, how do you find, do you still have very clear memories about it all?
Tell him about his.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's very deaf. He's more like
He's got a little bit of. Tell him about your shrapnel you got in your eye.
bit of shrapnel.
Oh, is that still there?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
He wouldn't have it taken out.
No way.
No.
They wouldn't take it out.
A memento.
They wouldn't take it out because it's too close to me.
It's too close to your eyes.
Yeah.
So he said, leave it in.
Still there. Then, very nice to meet you. Though.
It's been lovely to see you.
Very nice to see you. I'm conscious I don't want to leave you guys out here too long.
Yeah.
But very nice to see you.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Norman, very nice to see you, Norman. Norman, so I see here you said with 5 Dorsets.
Well, that's the job for the Dorsets. I'm an RE, actually.
Oh, okay. And what are your memories of D-Day?
Oh, we landed at the Gold Beach. Just one of those days.
Yeah.
It's a ball. Not very good, but sometimes it's okay.
Yeah. And do you find it very difficult coming back and hearing the stories again every time you do the D-Day events?
Oh, no, I became the last one.
Have you been to quite a few of them, have you?
Yes, really.
I find them very moving, especially the letters from the families. I find that very moving. I think it relates with every family. They always feel connected in some way what must have happened. Well, Norman, it's very nice to see you. And look after yourself. And we'll see you in 5 years' time. I told you all that.
Yeah.
We want all of you here in 5 years' time, 85th. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
So you remember Cheryl?
Look, Cheryl, how are you? Really great event. Amazing well done. That was great. Apart from the RAF turning up late.
Oh, and that wasn't awful. No, they were delayed by air traffic.
See, I said that. I did say studio. I said I don't.